What's up YouTube? Today we are going to change the diff bushings. Alright, changing the diff, or taking the diff out is not too difficult. A little more difficult when it's in the car. If it is in the car, don't forget to take off your ventilation tube. You also have your drive shaft that you need to get off. I believe those are 14s. When it's out though, you have 19s over here. You have two nuts on here, one holding this ground. So these are two 19s. Then the drive shaft axles, these are 12s. And then the front of the diff itself, holding on to the top, these are 17s. Okay, we'll put it on time lapse and go ahead and get these out. All right, I got all the drive shaft bolts out. Now, it's time to get the two rear diff bushings, or two rear diff bolts out. And these are two 19s. All right, now that the rear are out, we need to get the two 17s on either side. You take a look at how the bushing is. If we get it on the side, you can see that there's some bushing rubber on top and on bottom. Now that I got the 17s loose, I think I want to have the diff supported by the jack. That way it holds it up. I could take the bolts out easy. So I'm going to move the jack. Okay. Now that it's held up, and go ahead and take the bolts off. All right, just to show you the bolt, you have the washer, you have the bushing piece here that comes out. Now that all the bolts are out, you should be able to lift the subframe and the diff should lean up, and then you could just pull it right out. Now that the diff's out, you see the top one of these. If the bushing is still pretty solid, you probably just leave that on. You don't need to burn that out, and it fits just right on top of there. So there are, you can see there's no bushing inside here. It's all part of that bolt. And then the two rear ones, there's a cup. There's a cup on the inside that will need. There's a cup on the inside that we'll need, that will where you send the diff bolts through. All right, so we got to knock those out. All right, after digging, I dug my screwdriver around the sides, broke off some of the edge, and then I was able to get this cup out. A lot of people just burn this off because you still need this cup. This is what sits inside the bushing, and then the diff bolt goes through and you bolt it on through the back, or you bolt it on through through here. The diff bushing goes through here, so it sits in the diff like this. I need to clean this up and need to get the other one off as well. as you can see, there is also an outer metal ring that needs to come out. We'll reuse the inner cup, but we got to take this outer ring off. And there's a couple ways you could do it. It's already sticking out a little bit, so I might try getting the Sawzall just to nick it, you know, cut it off a little bit, make it a little weaker, and hammer it into, and hammer it out. After you drill through one of the edges, you'll be able to pry it up and then work its way out. And that is the outer sleeve of the rear of the diff. All right, now you just clean this up and then we'll be able to grease and slap that other one back in here. But I have to get the other side also. It got pretty dark and cold, so I didn't finish this, but I figured pick it up here. There we go. That's not too bad right there. All right, and these are pretty smooth already. Just do a little cleanup and we'll get the new bushings in. With the Dif bushings, we're gonna go ahead and show you the part number. There you go. And this is for, I guess these are black. For some reason these are black. The other ones I got are red. I don't really care either way. I'm not 100% sure if, you know, the number being different, if there's one number different as the black versus the red, but that's what I got, and these are black. With the Dif bushing kit, it came with a little bit of grease where the subframe one did not. So we'll just grab a little bit of that. We'll put it on the, put it all around the side. Line it up. Holy cow, okay, I got one in, and I'll record this one. I had to take a board, get it up on there, and then just whack the hell out of a hammer off the back of it, and it got in. I think I'll do a time lapse on this one because I don't know how long it's going to take. Let me show you. And there's the second one. All right, now I'm trying not to burn as much as possible, so I tried to clean as much off as the center caps, but I think I'm just gonna burn the rest. It's the only thing I burnt, so now let's get to that. All right, I got the bushings burning. Once all the rubber's burned off, I'll come back. But after you let the cups cool off a little bit, and you can, I'm going to take a little bit of sandpaper and try to get a little bit of this, the rest of the gunk off. Thinking doing this, it'll help fit inside the bushing a little bit better. I'm not too worried about getting it all, just kind of get some of the high points off. Like this point here. And that's off. While it's still hot, you know, you could get a screwdriver and kind of scrape down, and I'll help peel a lot of it off. Because you need to reuse these cups for the center part. I mean, that's really about it right there. I mean, it's good enough to go back in. Remember, the orientation of the cup is with the hole on the inside, and this goes up against it, so the diff sits and puts the screw through here. So I'll put it in there. We'll do both at the same time. Get this one in. And to get it seated all the way back, you need to get a socket. All right, I just got a long 7/8. If you have a long 24, that actually fits really well. So what I'll do is I'll get on this side, I'll keep an eye, and then I'll just pound it till it gets just about flush. Okay, on the other side, so they're just about flush. When it ends up getting bolted in, the diff gets bolted in the front, and then you bolting these down, it will pull a little bit, so it doesn't have to be perfect right at the start. All right, so you see the old bushing here and the old nut. You slide that one out and you put the new one in, and as you notice, same as the old one, it has a little extra part of the metal sticking out. That's because when you put the top part, you have the metal cap and you burned off, you put that down and it'll sit right inside there, nice and tight. And that's how you put that in. So now I gotta just put this up and put the diff back in. All right, to put in the front bushings, take out the metal, you know, brass inner piece, and just hit it up in there, and then insert. Got random kids. Then insert the brass piece up in there, and there you go. Top part of the bushing, the flat side goes up, and then it just presses around the other bushing right there, and it stays. But don't forget, you need to have your metal cap on there before you put it in. All right, now we need to get the diff back in the subframe. All right, because I couldn't get these two front ones lined up, I had to knock the cups back out a little bit on this one, and then I got these two lined up, got those bolted up, got these bolted up. I am gonna wait to torque them down till they're in the car and the subframe's up. Now I gotta do the drive shafts.